1. Fam, what's going on? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Thank you for joining me tonight on the college football playoff rankings. Here's a look at the updated bracket projections put out by the College Football Playoff Committee on ESPN. So let's walk you through it from 1 through 12. And how they do this on ESPN is very confusing because they have the rankings on the left and then they seed the team. So what I'm going to do is explain the seedings, and then the rankings are for the birds because it doesn't even make sense to me. So from the actual seedings, how they have the team, Oregon is the number 1 in the Big Ten, so they would be hosting. Number 2 in the SEC is Texas. They would be hosting, right, a quarterfinal game. Number 3 is BYU, who is undefeated, and then number 4 is Miami. And then at the number 5 spot, that is a team who is also hosting in the first round. That would be Ohio State because they are number 2 in the Big Ten. They would be hosting number 12, Boise State. Now, what is interesting here is that, and what I think is completely unfair, is that Boise State would get in, and you look at the first team out, it would be Georgia. Now, it is completely unfair that one of these SEC teams is going to be left out of the playoffs. Number 8 is Tennessee, and number 9 is Notre Dame. All right, I would love to see that matchup, to be honest. Number 6, how about this? If you're looking for 6 and 11 upsets, my goodness, Ole Miss has to be loving this route. If this was to really happen, my goodness, Lane Kiffin would have his way up into the semifinals. He would slice and dice Penn State, and James Franklin would be absolutely done. Then he would go to Provo, Utah, and absolutely bury BYU, right? And then he would go to the semifinals and maybe even have a shot at the title game. All right, Alabama would be on the road in this scenario, taking on Indiana, going up to Indiana for a first-round game, then having to go to Texas. So, look, this is just a model. This is all make-believe at this point in time, but here are the rankings. I think what stands out to me is let's look how many SEC teams are on. So you got Texas, you have Alabama, you have Ole Miss, and you have Tennessee. So there's 4 teams. I think that 4 teams are going to make the playoff bracket from the SEC. Let me ask you inside the comment box, how many SEC teams do you think deserve to make the playoffs? 4 or 5? I honestly feel like in this model, I think that Georgia, think about Georgia. They lost to Alabama and Ole Miss, and they're out, right? They beat Texas, which is a crazy thing. They beat Texas, who is the SEC leader, and they are out. Now, and this is when you kind of look to the scenarios about what is going to happen in the SEC. And we've talked about this all week. Should Alabama want to make the SEC championship game, or should they want to potentially host a first round playoff game? And I think in this scenario, they would be on the road. But I think if they win out, Alabama is going to be hosting. I think we all know that. What's up, Kimberly, Steven? I see you guys inside the comment box. Now, I'll tell you what, there are 2 pretenders in the quarterfinals, Miami and BYU. Sorry, you guys have had solid seasons for your program, but everybody knows you guys are contenders. Boise State pretender, my bad. Boise State pretender, Notre Dame pretender, Penn State pretender, and so is Indiana. All right. Okay, T, can we start a quick poll? All right, we're going to start a quick poll. We don't like Georgia, but do you think that who deserves to be in the playoffs? Georgia or Boise State? That's the poll question right now. And that's the other thing. Look, Wealthy Love, what's up? The other thing is, and this is another scenario that exists, is that Colorado wins the Big 12, right? I mean, when you look to the Big 12 right now, the Big 12 up at the top is BYU and Colorado. I would imagine that Colorado, I think at this point, Colorado wins the Big 12. Colorado goes on the road. They host Utah. Then they go to Kansas. And then after Kansas, they host their last game of the season against Oklahoma State. Right? I don't know. Who's with me? Who do you think? Are we on par that we think that Colorado is going to make the conference championship game of the Big 12 and win? And how about this conference? See, look at what does the early poll say, T? I think the early poll is all Georgia, right?
Yeah, 73% say Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Well, like how is Boise State up in this? And here's the ACC, and this is the thing I don't get about the ACC. My goodness, Clemson, SMU, and Miami. Look, Miami, they still have Miami as hosting, and I guess that's because they think that Miami is going to win the ACC. I don't know, man. And then this conference over here, don't even get me started. Look, I think Oregon and Ohio State are good football teams. Look, Indiana, I think, will be exposed. They're going to Ohio State here in a couple weeks. And then you have Penn State. Come on. Now, the crazy scenarios start. We've been talking about this as well. If you go to this website, I think we crashed it. It's B-ball or nothing. Here are the current SEC standings. There's going to be all these teams from the SEC that have 2 losses, and one of them is going to get left out. I guess it's going to be Georgia. But you know what's going to help Georgia is if they beat Tennessee this coming Saturday, right? So if Georgia beats Tennessee, that's their playoff play-in game, right? And then Tennessee would be left out. So there's your preview for next Tuesday is Georgia beats Tennessee, and then Tennessee is the first team out. There you go. If you go to this site, B-Ball or Nothing, you can punch in all the data, bballernothing.net, and you hit that button, click standings, and it spits this out. Now, if Texas wins out and they finish 7-1, and then Alabama finishes out and they're 6-2, then these 2 teams, based on the seeding criteria in the tiebreakers for the SEC, Alabama and Texas would play in the SEC championship game, which we don't want because, you know what? Look, I think that Alabama has a shot to beat Texas clearly. But if they don't, you know what's going to happen? Alabama is going to be penalized, and they're going to be left out of the playoffs by making the SEC championship game. You see what I'm saying? All right, so if you're just checking in, you're like, where's the bracket? Here's the bracket right here. This was released this Tuesday night. The only thing I like about Indiana is their quarterback. That's it. So if you're just checking in, you're like, what is the bracket? Here's the bracket. Number 1 is Oregon. Number 2 is Texas. Number 3 is BYU. 4 is Miami. Number 5 is Ohio State. Number 6 is Penn State. Number 7 is Indiana. Number 8 is Tennessee. Number 9 is Notre Dame. Number 10 is Bama. 11, you got Ole Miss. And you got number 12 as Boise State. The conference that is being rewarded really is the Big Ten, right? Oregon. They're hosting a quarterfinal game, and rightfully so. They're undefeated. Penn State? Are you kidding me? And you know what this tells me too? This tells me that schedule of strength does not matter whatsoever. Really, because, look, T is a college football analyst for ESPN. Just kidding. T is right here. T, how many games, T, how many top 25 teams has Indiana played this year?
I don't think any.
0.
Yeah.
Indiana has not played one top 25 team. Alabama has played 4.
Yeah.
Georgia has played 5. Right? But this conference is being rewarded. Penn State's being rewarded. Indiana's being rewarded. Oregon's being rewarded. Ohio State should be there. But you know what? The schedule of strength, it doesn't matter. Play more Mercers, I guess. There's no way that Penn State... Look, I'll tell you the teams that would beat Georgia. Notre Dame, nope. Tennessee, they won't. Penn State won't. Indiana won't. Boise State, no, they won't. Miami wouldn't beat Georgia. BYU wouldn't beat Georgia. And Georgia already beat Texas. But don't worry, Georgia fans. You're going to be in there. You know who's going to be pissed off is going to be Tennessee. Tennessee is going to be the team that is left out. So this is how it looks today on this Tuesday. This is more rat poison for everybody out there. All right. How about this? Grade the accuracy of this bracket right now on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being it looks solid. 1 being this bracket looks trash. What are you going to say, T?
Oh, I don't know. 4?
4? I'm going to say I think that this bracket pretty trashy. Honestly. And I just think that the SEC is being vastly.
Well, the conference champions like getting an automatic bid, right? Like
That's where
it completely ruins everything.
100%. Yeah. Thank you. Like BYU and Miami and then Boise State. Why are we putting Boise State in here? Carl Maine, what's up, man? Saying Colorado will beat BYU.
I guess they want to avoid an FSU fiasco again.
Oh, yeah. Okay, how about this? Which team is most likely to complain?
Notre Dame.
Yeah. Which team is most likely to get the attorney general riled up out of all these teams? Okay, Notre Dame. All right. Damn it, T, that is my choice. Okay, I'm going to go with, give me Boise State how about Indiana?
Yeah. Because they're undefeated.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Right?
They're BYU.
Yeah, BYU. They should have. The crazy thing is BYU should have lost this last game against Utah. And then Utah's AD came out. Look at what people are saying.
FSU still riles them up.
Look at this. 3F, 4, 1.4, 4, 2, 4, 0. Yeah, I'm saying it's pretty trashy. I'm saying like a 2.
Yeah.
2 or a 3. And that's the other thing is somehow Notre Dame found this loophole, right? To where if they don't play in a conference and they beat our lovely service academy schools, Army, Navy, right?
Yeah.
Air Force, that would be their ticket. It's kind of smart.
Yeah, they're on to
because
something for sure.
and you know what Notre Dame figured out, and this is completely true. Notre Dame figured out that schedule of strength does not matter whatsoever. It's about being undefeated, and the point is Indiana. There's no way. Think about this. What I'm about to say, listen to this. Indiana has not played a top 25 team. Alabama has played 4 of them. Indiana is hosting Alabama in this make-believe college football playoff ranking. That's not cool. That's not right. So in the SEC is a complete shark tank of all the top teams. I bet you Georgia's completely pissed off, but hey, don't lose late. Don't lose late. And that's the thing. Don't lose late. That's why Alabama fans do not want to be in the college football, the SEC championship game. Because if they lose, they will be penalized and they will be out. That's what will happen. This is exactly what will happen. Georgia is going to beat Tennessee. Tennessee is going to be the first team out, okay? And then fast forward to the SEC championship game, and let's just say Texas beats Texas A&M and Texas beats Alabama in the SEC title game. Then since Tennessee beat Alabama, then Alabama would be out of the playoffs as a 10-3. There you go. That's exactly what will happen. Which will be a disservice for making the SEC championship game the toughest conference in all the land and being left out of the college football playoffs. And that's the other thing is you win and you have to battle right against another Texas team. So I mean, look, if you want to be the best, you got to. I'm not scared to play the competition is there. You got to go through the champ. But I'm just saying that the other conferences have it much easier compared to Alabama, 100%. All right. Before we bounce out, let me ask you this: can you list 4 contenders? 4 contenders inside the comment box. T, who are your 4 contenders when you looked at this bracket?
Like who do I think is gonna win these matchups?
Just 4 4 legitimate teams.
Tennessee, Alabama. I think Georgia is.
I'm going Georgia, Texas, Bama,
in Oregon, maybe.
In Ohio State. Those are the 4. Those are the 4 contenders.
I always leave out Ohio State. I don't know why I have some blockage for them.
Those are the 4 contenders, and the rest of the teams, I'm sorry, are pretenders. Until Lane Kiffin can continue to win big games on a consistent basis, they're going to be in the pretender category. He plays too emotional. If he was to face Alabama, he would play too emotional. If he was to play Steve Sarkisian, he would play too emotional. I love him as a coach. I just think he gets too emotional in those type of games. Like him compared to Coach Kalen DeBoer, who has like this mild-mannered approach, he's able to coach more level-headed, in my opinion, than a Lane Kiffin. We've seen this before. Notre Dame, pretender. In Ohio State, while I think they are a contender, Ryan Day, he can't win big games either. He can't. I don't know if Dan Lanning can, but I think that team's pretty good, and I think Steve Sarkisian is a good coach. So Timothy has it: Oregon, Alabama, Ole Miss, Ohio State. And the thing with Georgia is I'd love to put Georgia there again, just because Kirby Smart and all the players that Georgia has, just like the play at Carson Beck has been trending absolutely the wrong direction. I think Jarvis or one of our statisticians inside the comment box today said that over the last 3 or 4 games, he's thrown 9 interceptions. So absolutely trending the wrong way. And yeah, so those are my top 4. And look, I said this today, and this is a stat that I think was heard around the world. In the last 2 games, Alabama has rushed the football 83 times for 583 yards with 10 touchdowns. Run the ball, okay? That is the secret formula. Alabama has allowed 2 touchdowns in the last 2 games. One really in trash time, the last play of the game against Jalen Mbakwe, a freshman. But outside of that, holding a team like LSU to, 13 points, quality. 12? Is that 12 interceptions in the 3 games?
12. Yeah.
Oh my God. 12 interceptions in 3 games, or is it 4? Either way, it sucks. That's what I'm saying. Man, unbelievable.
Carson got a new girlfriend.
Oh my goodness. All right. So, dang, 12 interceptions. Well, I mean, I guess Georgia fans or whatever could be like, well, Jalen Milroe hasn't thrown a touchdown in the last 2 games. And Alabama fans would be like, well, he's ran for 8 in the last 2 times he played LSU. So, I don't know. You know who needs to run the damn ball more? How about Richard Young? Seriously? Oh, my goodness. Richard Young, when he hit that dude with his shoulder pad and the dude went right into the dirt, man, he looked like, I don't know. Eddie, who does Richard Young remind you of? The running back for Alabama.
Cracking up at Lambo at elbow.
What did he
Someone
say?
said Carson Beck has Lambo elbow.
Who does Richard Young remind you of? The running back for Bama. Like maybe like I don't think he's as big as Eddie Lacy, but he's a big back. Like Bo Scarborough was big. But I don't know. He absolutely drops the boom. And we all saw, if you questioned Justice Haynes' physicality, he absolutely brought it this last week. Bro, is someone saying Bo as well? Yeah. I don't know. But, man, he's ultra talented for sure. But anyways, fam, just wanted to hop on tonight and pop on these rankings. So 1 through 4, I mean, this is what it's going to look like. One of the team, this is every single week, the first team out is going to be a team from the SEC. So next week it's going to be Tennessee and SMU. Poor things, they're running through the ACC, but they're still the second team out. Someone's saying a lot of Josh Jacobs. Wow, interesting, huh? Brian Robinson Jr., Josh Jacobs. Wow, I love that. Okay, man, a lot of people. Okay, And now that I think about it, I do like this comparison because, you remember in Oklahoma when they played Oklahoma down in Miami, and Josh Jacobs ran over that dude. Man, that was crazy. Tennessee will beat Georgia? Oh, man, I don't know about that. I don't know. I mean, even if Beck throws 3 more interceptions, I mean, how many did he throw against Alabama? And they almost won that game. What did he throw, 3? I think Georgia wins that game. And I think SMU will beat Miami too. Josh Jacobs, huh? It's just it's a ferocious running back room. Jam Miller, Justice Haynes, Richard Young. JTL is like, Kyle, love the show, but you Bama fans keep getting lucky. I don't know if it's lucky. Now, the thing is, Alabama has played against quarterbacks that are absolutely trash. Like 100%. Like these quarterbacks have not been it. Garrett Nussmeier was, I think, the best quarterback that they faced since Diego Pavia. But I think what's happening, though, is Kalen DeBoer has figured out, got to run the football to win games, period. And when you run the ball with a quarterback who's running 22 miles an hour, you're going to put points on the board. They can't stop the pass rush from the right side because Elijah Pritchett is in trouble. So they're running the ball with the quarterback, and you're going to just have to deal with it. In Alabama, look, the wear and tear on Jalen Milroe is zero. The guy he's 235 pounds. He's running a 4.3. You have other running backs that can take a limited wear and tear. I mean, you saw the quote tonight. I guess Jalen Milroe went up to Ryan Williams and was like, hey, man, sorry about kind of the rushing stats. And Ryan Williams was like, man, I don't care. You see your stats, we're winning. So I don't know. I think someone said that these receivers like to be blockers on this team. I don't buy that. Receivers want the football, period. But Alabama's going to win games with a running quarterback like Jalen Milroe. So, and I think all these teams on this map right here, I think Alabama could beat all of them. If Jalen Milroe was on point. So, anyways, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. to wrap with you guys. I appreciate it. We'll take some calls tomorrow. You guys can sound off on the college football playoff bracket. Thank you so much for being here. I love and appreciate you guys. One more time, coming to you from beautiful Hollywood, Alabama, Kyle Henderson, Bama football on YouTube. I appreciate the support. Definitely drop a thumbs up on these videos, and we'll catch up with you guys soon. All right, see you guys.